In almost every culture, many of the materials used for healing the body were also used for painting. Many of these materials used by the doctor and by the artist came from the same place, the apothecary or chemist shop. There are many recipes telling us how to process and how to paint with the materials. Saffron is the most expensive spice in the world, literally worth its weight in gold. It was used by the artist for its beautiful clear yellow, but especially to modify reds and greens. There are many recipes for mixing saffron with verdigris, which was acidic and often very corrosive green when it was painted onto paper or parchment. It was corrosive because verdigris is made by suspending or immersing copper into acetic acid, such as vinegar or wine, and allowing it to corrode so the green verdigris forms on the copper surface. By mixing saffron with verdigris, the antioxidant properties of the saffron help prevent or inhibit this damage. It also modified the green colour, making it brighter and less blue. It was used in medicine to treat asthma and whooping cough, as well as for its calming properties. In this 18th century Persian manuscript, we can see saffron has been mixed with verdigris and there's no damage to the paper. Lac is the scarlet colour obtained from female scale insects, which are parasites that live on trees in India and the Indo-Chinese peninsula. Thousands of females attach themselves to the tree branches and cover themselves with resinous secretion, enclosing the insect in its own cell. To make the colour using a 15th century recipe, remove the insect bodies from the stick and coarsely grind. For artists, the insect reds were the most valuable of all the organic reds. They produced a beautiful crimson scarlet colour, which was very expensive and much admired. Turning the ground insects into a pigment involved adding potassium carbonate and alum to make a scarlet red precipitate. This is then filtered and dried. Chinese medical recipes note that lac was used for healing wounds, especially knife wounds, and aid the regrowth of flesh. Persian recipes say to use it for dropsy and liver complaints. In Europe, lac was used as a tonic and an astringent. To paint with it, grind finely and add gum. The beautiful purple-coloured painting in this Islamic manuscript is made from the bodies of the female lac insects. The natural form of the pigment vermilion is cinnabar. From around the 11th century, it was discovered how to make this colour synthetically by roasting mercury and sulphur together. Alchemists consider mercury and sulphur to be the parents of all metals, and their synthesis was greatly admired. Mercury has a long history of medical uses. It was used to treat typhoid fever and syphilis, and was used in preparations of skin lightening creams and for tooth fillings. For the artist, the red pigment vermilion was a beautiful saturated red and the only colour able to be painted using the yolk rather than the white of the egg. Yolks are usually too oily to paint on paper or parchment, but the dense red vermilion could soak it up, and the resulting colour was rich and lustrous. The blood and the wounds in this German manuscript made in 1420 have been painted using vermilion. In medicine, the berries from the Rhamnus catharticus bush were used for purging, to make you vomit or otherwise expel poisons from the body. And this was considered an important treatment for many conditions. For the artist, a beautiful yellow could be made from the unripe berries of the buckthorn tree. And a good green was made from the sticky ripe berries. This was known as sap green. To make the sap green, the ripe berries were crushed to extract the juice, and this was then boiled with water. Alum was added, and after more boiling, it was left to cool and stored in an ox or pig's bladder. A little vinegar was sometimes added to brighten the colour. It was often added to verdigris to give it a more intense colour. It's fascinating to see that these age-old manuscripts reflect the intimate connection between the doctor and the painter, with the same materials being used to both heal and paint.